Welcome to Train Signal. You're watching the welcome video for our 7647 Enterprise Administrator course. I'm your host, Coach Culbertson, and let's go ahead and talk about what's in this beginning segment here. Just want to tell you a little bit about your instructor and Train Signal. Then I'm going to talk to you about what's included in this course so you know what to expect. Then at the end, I've included a little section on the hardware that I'm using in case you want to play along at home and duplicate some of the demos that I do in the course. So just a little bit about me. I've been doing IT work and IT training for quite a while, and you see here underneath my picture here, I have several certifications that you would expect to see from any instructor. But something you may not expect to see, I actually spent a 2-year tour of duty as an inner city high school teacher in Chicago, and actually took a whole bunch of at-risk students and turned them into computer technicians. And I'm really proud of my kids' efforts. And if any of my clinic kids are actually out there watching this video, just want to give you a quick shout out and tell you that I'm proud of you. But while I was there, I actually ended up adopting a daughter and a resulting son-in-law, and now I'm actually a grandparent. So you see here in the picture here is a picture of my daughter Krista and my son-in-law Zeke, and then my grandson little Zeke. So I came back to the private sector after doing that work, and over the process of the last 10 years or so, I've launched a couple hundred careers of both adults and of course of high school students. And I'm really honored to be part of your journey. So thanks for buying the course, and I'm going to make this course as much fun and as informative as I possibly can for this. Now, in terms of Train Signal, just to let you know kind of the style that we have overall, we have a very casual training method, and we're really interested in teaching you real skills first, because you can have all the theory knowledge in the world, but if you can't put your hands on something and make it work, well, it doesn't really mean that much. So as a company, we really focus in on getting you those real skills. We use a lot of scenario-based training in our coursework to answer the question, why does this change my life? Why does this technology exist? How is it going to help me provide a good experience and good solid resources for my users? So that's really what we're all about. So now that you know just a little bit about me, you know a little bit about our company, let's go ahead and talk about what's going to be covered in this course. To begin with, we're going to talk a little bit about virtualization, when to use virtualization, and maybe a little bit when not to. And I'll walk you through some of that. We're going to talk about Active Directory force design and functional levels, some critical knowledge to get your head wrapped around when you are designing and planning out a Server 2008 network. Designing trusts between forests and domains is next, followed up by some Active Directory group and group policy strategy. And I'll show you some of the new features that are involved in group policy. Then I'm going to take you through Active Directory backup and recovery, and some of that stuff that you learn in there might just end up saving your job someday. So then we'll talk about DNS and name resolution. And of course, we can't forget about Active Directory certificate services. Then I'm going to show you how to get out of the office with terminal services, and actually I kind of snuck in a little bit of a bonus video in there, so stay tuned to all the way through to the end of the video to make sure that you grab some bonus skills. In video 10, we talk about rights management and the distributed file system. We're going to talk about a little more about high availability, and I've created a solid network load balancing video that you should be able to replicate on your own virtual machines, by the way. We're going to talk about the read-only domain controller, when to use it, when it's a good idea, when it's not a good idea. We're also going to talk about WSUS and how to keep your machines updated. I take you through setting up a WSUS server as well as the group policy settings and how to apply that. Then we get into a little bit of security, where we talk about some new elements in Server 2008 that make security just a little bit easier on you. And then at the end, I provided really an exam prep video for you about how to plan for remote access. Now, in this course, I want to let you know that this course is really more of a thinking course. Yeah, sure, we do a lot of demos and get our hands dirty. But the core element that I want you to remember and be thinking about all the time is, how can I use these different technologies in a network environment? This course is about planning, thinking, and designing and understanding each of the elements of Server 2008 that we go through are going to be critical in your planning and design process. I have used the 7647 exam objectives to plot out this course, and I aligned as closely as I possibly could, but then I've also extended some of those exam objectives to give you some extra skills and knowledge. So that's what you can expect in this course. I do probably more topical work, although there are a lot of examples and real-world based examples all the way throughout the course. Now, in terms of hardware, what I've used in this course, I did have one Hyper-V machine at the beginning of the course, and it has 4 gigs of RAM. I've installed Server 2008 64-bit Enterprise. It has 2 250 gig hard drives and an AMD 2.4 gigahertz processor that does have virtualization extensions. Now, after we leave the Hyper-V section, I mostly use a VMware machine. It's a fairly standard machine. I've got 3 250 gig hard drives in the machine, 8 gig of RAM, and the operating system that I use primarily is Vista Business running VMware Workstation. So my base of operations literally is Vista, but then I've actually built most of the machines that you'll see throughout the course in VMware. So if you want to set up some machines to start off with before you get into the course, here's what I recommend. Create 5 virtual machines with Server 2008 Enterprise 64-bit. You can pretty much name them however you like. You don't have to use the names that I use in the course. Just as long as you know what those machines are, you can just name them Server 1, Server 2, Server 3. I've given my servers a little more interesting name just because it's just sheer habit. But by now, since you're watching this video for the Enterprise Administrator, I expect that you should be able to set up your own machines and set up your own networking and whatnot. I also want you to create a domain controller if you have the ability to do so. With 4 or 5 user accounts, you don't need a huge amount of user accounts for this particular video series, just enough to test out some of the features that we configure and enable. Now, just so you know, you don't need 2 machines to do the course. You could actually just get by on one Hyper-V machine with 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM and a couple of solid hard drives in there. And again, this is only if you want to practice the demos along with me. You don't have to in order to get everything that you need out of this course. You just kick back and grab some popcorn and a soda and watch the videos. So don't feel like you absolutely have to have hardware and go out and spend the dollars to do that. You don't have to. You can just get by just by simply watching the videos. However, I know that there's a lot of folks out there who they really want to get their hands on this thing. They want to punch around and play on it. And I encourage that, by the way. I think that there's no better way to get experience and knowledge in any technology. You just got to get your hands on it. Punch around on it. Poke some buttons. Especially if you have virtual machines. I really feel that's one of the best ways to learn, especially server technology, because you can blow stuff up all over the place and all you have to do is revert back to snapshots, right? And Hyper-V does support snapshots. It's a beautiful thing. So you can literally go back in time before you blow something up. Okay? But yeah, I just wanted to tell you what it is and my basic setup for the course, just in case you do want to play along at home. All right, so how about it? You know what's in the course. You know a little bit about what to expect. So if you're ready, I say come on, let's go, and I'll see you in the next video.